If you can't support my healing journey, file for divorce. Carol said it while folding her yoga mat into an expensive designer bag. Her voice had that practiced calm she'd picked up from her wellness podcasts. Like she was delivering a spiritual truth instead of an ultimatum. Like the 28 years we'd built together in Fort Worth were just negative energy she needed to cleanse from her chakras. I'm Wesley Pierce, 52 years old, fire captain at Station 19 for the past 20 years. I've pulled people out of burning buildings, cut them free from twisted metal, brought them back from the edge when their hearts stopped beating. I know what real emergencies look like. Standing in our ranch-style kitchen that Tuesday morning in March, watching my wife pack for her 5-day wellness retreat to Sedona with her personal trainer Aaron Foster, I realized some fires can't be put out. Some things are just meant to burn. "You're really going," I said. It wasn't a question. Carol didn't look up from her organic smoothie ingredients. "Yes, and if you can't evolve with me, that's your choice." She walked past me with her rolling suitcase, the one we'd bought for our anniversary trip to Hawaii 3 years ago, back when she still laughed at my jokes instead of rolling her eyes and saying I needed to raise my vibration. The garage door rumbled open. Her BMW backed out of the driveway we'd sealed together in 2018, the same driveway where I parked my F-150 every evening after 24-hour shifts. The same driveway our kids had learned to ride bikes on when we bought this house in 2001, 5 years after our wedding in 1996. I stood there watching her taillights disappear around the corner, and something crystallized in my mind. Not anger, not even surprise, just cold, clear certainty. I'd been making excuses for Carol longer than I wanted to admit. The cracks had been showing for 2 years, little things at first. She'd started complaining that our neighborhood was energetically stagnant. Said the house felt small and limiting compared to the $1-million listings she was showing clients. Carol had always been successful in real estate, pulling down 6 figures most years since she got her license in 2003. But success had turned into something else, entitlement maybe, or just plain dissatisfaction with the life we'd built. Then came the fitness obsession. Aaron Foster owned a boutique studio across town, the kind of place where classes cost more than most people spend on groceries. Carol started going every evening after work, coming home energized and glowing, talking about mind-body connection and authentic living. Aaron was everything I wasn't. 28 years old, abs you could see from space, 50,000 Instagram followers hanging on his every motivational post. He specialized in holistic wellness for high-achieving women. Translation, he told successful middle-aged wives that their husbands were holding them back from their true potential. The first time Carol brought him to our house, I was coming off a double shift. Structure fire on the east side that had claimed 2 apartments, 3-car accident on I-35 that required 2 extractions, and a medical call that went sideways when an 80-year-old man coded in front of his family. I walked into my living room to find this guy sitting on my couch, drinking a protein shake, explaining to my wife how she needed to break free from limiting relationships. "This is Aaron," Carol said casually, "my transformation coach." I shook his hand because I'm not an asshole. His grip was firm, his smile was perfect, and his energy was the kind that made you want to check if your wallet was still in your pocket. "Wesley's a firefighter," Carol said, like she was apologizing for me. "Respect, brother," Aaron said. "But have you ever considered how your high-stress career might be creating toxic energy in your home environment?" I considered a lot of things in that moment, mostly how satisfying it would be to show him exactly what kind of energy my career had given me. The kind that could carry a 200-pound man down 3 flights of stairs in 0 visibility. The kind that stayed calm when other people's worlds were falling apart. Instead, I grabbed a beer and went out to work on my truck. Some battles aren't worth fighting. Some people aren't worth the oxygen they're stealing. That's when the late nights started, the secretive phone calls, the sudden interest in personal growth seminars and spiritual retreats. Carol began talking about how she was outgrowing our marriage, how she needed space to discover her authentic self. Translation, she was screwing her trainer and wanted me to pay for the privilege. I'm not stupid. 20 years in fire and rescue teaches you to read situations fast. You learn to assess threats, identify what's savable and what's already lost. The signs were all there. Credit card charges at hotels when she said she was showing houses. Instagram photos from restaurants I'd never been to, tagged with locations I'd never visited, text message alerts at midnight that she'd quickly dismiss as client emergencies. But this Sedona trip was different. 5 days at some luxury resort, doing couples yoga and meditation workshops with Erin. She'd booked it using our joint account without even asking. A $4,000 charge that showed up on my banking app while I was washing soot off my face after a warehouse fire. "It's an investment in my healing," she said when I questioned the expense. "Erin thinks I have unresolved trauma from settling for a conventional life." "Settling," I repeated. "Don't take it personally, Wesley. It's about my journey, not you." That's when she delivered the ultimatum: support her healing journey or file for divorce. She said it like she was doing me a favor, giving me permission to be the bad guy so she could play the victim, like she was throwing me a lifeline instead of a challenge. She had no idea who she was dealing with. See, here's what Carol forgot about firefighters. We don't panic, we assess, we plan, we execute, and we sure as hell don't let someone burn our house down just because they're holding a match. The first day she was gone, I made some calls. "Captain Rodriguez," I said when my chief picked up, "I need some personal time." Rodriguez and I went back 15 years. He'd been through his own divorce when his wife decided she preferred her yoga instructor to her husband. Funny how that works. Some patterns repeat themselves like house fires in the same neighborhood. Poor wiring, bad decisions, predictable outcomes. "What's the situation, Pierce?" I told him everything. The retreat, the trainer, the ultimatum. When I finished, Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "What are you thinking?" "She told me to file for divorce if I don't like her choices," I said. "So I'm filing for divorce." "You sure about this?" "Rodriguez, I've been sure for 2 years. I just needed her to give me permission." "You know what you're getting into? Divorce is like fighting a structure fire with no water pressure. Messy, expensive, and somebody always gets burned." "I'm already burning," I said. "At least this way, I control the blaze." Rodriguez understood. He'd walked this path before, knew what it cost and what it was worth. Take the time you need. The department's got your back. That afternoon, I called Diane Wilson, the lawyer who'd handled Rodriguez's case. She worked out of a small office downtown, the kind of place where results mattered more than marble countertops. No fancy reception area, just file cabinets and law books and the smell of strong coffee. "I need to file for divorce," I told her when she asked why I was calling. "My wife's in Arizona with another man, and she essentially dared me to do something about it." Diane had seen it all before. 23 years of family law had given her a practical view of human nature. She asked direct questions and didn't waste time on sympathy. "How long have you been married?" 28 years, since 1996. "Children?" 2, both adults. Linda's 26, teaches elementary school. Gordon's 23, training to be a paramedic. "Assets?" "House is mine. Bought it in 2001, my name on the mortgage. Retirement fund, mostly my contributions. She's got her real estate income, but that's about it." "Adultery?" "Pretty obvious, but I don't have proof beyond circumstantial evidence. Don't need it in Texas anyway." Diane nodded. "Irreconcilable differences, clean and simple. Given the circumstances, she probably won't contest it. Most people don't fight when they know they're wrong. She had the papers ready in 2 hours. Irreconcilable differences. 28 years, 2 kids, 1 house, and a marriage that had died sometime around when my wife decided I was beneath her new spiritual pay grade. I signed them at Diane's desk while traffic hummed outside her second-floor window. My hand was steady. My voice was clear. I'd made harder decisions in burning buildings. Choices where seconds mattered and hesitation could cost lives. "You'll need to serve her when she returns," Diane said, sliding the copies into a manila envelope. "Or she can sign voluntarily." "She'll sign," I said. "She asked for this." That evening, I started packing Carol's things. Not angrily, not vindictively, just methodically, like I was conducting a rescue operation. Her clothes, her shoes, her collection of self-help books she'd never actually read, her vision boards and crystals, and whatever other props she used to convince herself that our marriage was the problem. I worked room by room, the bedroom closet where her clothes hung in color-coordinated sections, the bathroom drawers full of products I couldn't pronounce, the hall closet where she kept her winter coats, and the old photo albums we used to look through together. In the back of the bedroom closet, behind a stack of yoga mats and meditation cushions, I found our wedding album. 28 years ago, two kids from Fort Worth who thought love was enough. Carol in her dress, laughing at something my dad had said. Me in my rented tux, grinning like I'd just saved the world. My father had given a toast that night about partnership and perseverance. He'd died of a heart attack 8 years later, never lived to see this moment. Maybe that was a blessing. Dad believed in keeping your word, honoring your commitments. He would have been disappointed in Carol, but he would have understood my decision. We looked happy in those photos. We were happy for a while, young and broke and optimistic about the future we were going to build together, the house we'd buy, the kids we'd raise, the life we'd share. What happened? I didn't have a simple answer. Maybe people change. Maybe Carol had always been this person, and I'd just been too in love to see it. Maybe 28 years was too long to expect anyone to stay satisfied with the same life, the same house, the same man. Or maybe some people are just wired to want more than they have, no matter what they have. I closed the album and packed it with the rest of her things. Not throwing it away, just away. Those people in the photos weren't us anymore. They were strangers who happened to share our names. By Thursday night, I'd finished packing, suitcases lined up by the front door, like soldiers waiting for orders. The house felt different already, lighter somehow, like a weight had been lifted from the walls. Friday morning, my daughter Linda drove up from Austin. She's 26 now, teaches second grade at an elementary school south of the city. She's got her mother's quick wit and my practical sense, a combination. That served her well in life. She took one look at the suitcases by the door and said, "Dad, please tell me you're finally doing something about this." I told her everything, the retreat, the ultimatum, the divorce papers sitting on my kitchen table. When I finished, Linda was quiet for a moment, processing it all. "How long have you known?" she finally asked. Known or admitted it to myself. Either. 2 years, maybe longer. Linda nodded slowly. "Gordon and I both saw it coming. We just didn't know how to tell you." My son Gordon arrived that evening, driving up from San Antonio, where he'd been doing his paramedic training. At 23, he already had the calm demeanor that comes with emergency medical work. He'd inherited my ability to stay steady when everything around him was falling apart. "So what's the plan?" he asked, after Linda filled him in. "Your mother comes home Sunday afternoon," I said. I hand her the papers and point to the door. Gordon studied my face the way he'd learned to assess patients, looking for signs of stress, uncertainty, weakness. He didn't find any. "You're really done," he said. It wasn't a question. "I'm really done." "Good," Linda said. "Dad, you've spent 28 years being loyal to someone who stopped being loyal to you. That's not a marriage. That's just stubbornness. Sometimes your kids surprise you. Sometimes they give you exactly the permission you didn't know you needed. They could have tried to talk me out of it, could have pushed for counseling or compromise. Instead, they saw what I'd been too stubborn to admit. The kids won't judge you for leaving," Linda said, echoing something Rodriguez had told me years ago about his own situation. "We'll judge you if you stay." They spent the weekend with me, helping me prepare for what was coming. Not physically, everything was already done, but emotionally making sure I was ready for whatever version of Carol walked through that door on Sunday. "She's going to try everything," Gordon warned. "Tears, anger, bargaining. She'll promise to change, threaten to take you for everything, maybe even claim it was all a misunderstanding." "I know," I said. "And you're prepared for that?" I thought about all the emergencies I'd handled over the years. The car accidents where people begged me to save someone who was already gone. The house fires where families stood on the sidewalk, watching their lives burn, asking me to go back for things that couldn't be saved. "I've been preparing for this for 2 years, I said. "I just didn't know it." Saturday night, we ordered pizza and watched the Rangers play baseball on television. Normal father and kid stuff, except nothing about this was normal. Tomorrow, the life I'd known for 28 years would officially end. "Are you scared?" Linda asked during a commercial break. "Of what?" "Starting over, being alone, dating again at 52. I considered the question seriously. "No," I said finally. "I'm scared of staying the same." Sunday morning arrived like any other March day in Texas. Clear skies, temperature climbing towards 70. Linda and Gordon left around noon, both of them giving me long hugs before they drove away. "Call us if you need anything," Linda said. "I won't need anything," I said. "But I'll call anyway." The house fell quiet after they left. I sat in the living room, divorce papers on the coffee table in front of me, waiting. The clock on the mantel ticked steadily, marking off the minutes until 4 o'clock. I thought about the man I'd been 28 years ago, standing at the altar in a rented tuxedo, promising to love and honor the woman walking toward me. I'd meant those words. I'd kept that promise longer than most people keep their cars. But promises work both ways. Marriage is a contract, and Carol had been in breach for 2 years. At 3:30, I heard her BMW pull into the driveway. My heart started pounding, but not from nerves, from anticipation. This was it. The moment when 28 years of marriage would end, and whatever came next would begin. The car door slammed, footsteps on the walkway, the sound of her key in the lock. The front door swung open, and there she was. Tanned, glowing, radiating the kind of confidence that comes from 5 days of expensive self-indulgence and spiritual validation. She dropped her designer bag on the entryway table, like she owned the place, like nothing had changed while she was gone. "Hey," she said, all smiles and enlightened energy. "Miss me?" I didn't answer. I just looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I'd married, the mother of my children, the person I'd shared more than half my life with. She looked like a stranger wearing my wife's face. Carol walked into the living room, still riding whatever high she'd brought back from Arizona. Then she saw the suitcases. Her smile faltered like a candle in the wind. Her eyes found the papers on the coffee table. "What's going on?" she asked, and for the first time in months, she sounded uncertain. "Sit down," I said. "We need to talk." Her face went pale. For the first time in months, she looked uncertain. The spiritual glow faded fast, replaced by something that looked almost like fear. "What did you do?" she whispered. I picked up the papers and held them out to her. "I filed for divorce." For a moment, she didn't move. Then she laughed, sharp and disbelieving, like I'd just told her I was joining the circus. "You're bluffing?" "I'm not." She snatched the papers from my hand and scanned the first page. Her eyes moved fast, taking in the legal language, the official seals, the reality of what she was holding. "You can't be serious," she said. "We've been married 28 years. "I know exactly how long," I said. "That's why this hurts." Her face twisted into something between anger and confusion. "This is because of Aaron, because of one trip. This is because you've been disrespecting me for 2 years, I said. This is because you quit contributing to this marriage and expected me to carry everything. This is because you told me to file for divorce if I didn't support your choices. So I did." "I didn't mean it," she said, and her voice cracked slightly. "You meant it," I said, "and I'm calling your bluff." Carol's hands were shaking. The papers crumpled in her fist as she gripped them tighter. "You're overreacting," she said. "You always overreact. This is exactly why I needed space." "Space," I repeated. "Is that what we're calling it?" That landed. I saw the flash of guilt she tried to hide behind anger. "You don't get to do this," she said. "You don't get to just throw me out of my own house." "It's my house," I said. "My name's on the mortgage. My paycheck's made every payment. You've been too busy finding yourself to contribute much lately." Her face went red. "That's not fair." "None of this is fair," I said, "but here we are." She tried everything after that. First came the tears, real messy ones that streamed down her cheeks and ruined her carefully applied makeup. She begged me to reconsider, said she loved me, said Aaron meant nothing and she'd never see him again. "It was just a friendship," she sobbed. "Just someone to talk to about my problems." "What problems?" I asked. "The problem of being married to a man who's worked 60-hour weeks for 20 years to give you everything you wanted?" "You don't understand," she said. "I felt trapped, like I was disappearing into your life." "My life? Carol, I haven't had a life outside of work in this marriage for 28 years. Everything I did was for us, for this family." I listened to her pleas without responding. When she finished, I handed her a tissue and pointed at the door. Then came the anger. She screamed at me for being cold, for giving up on our marriage without even trying to fight for it. She threw a couch pillow across the room and called me names I wouldn't repeat to my worst enemy. "You're just like every other man," she yelled. When things get difficult, you run away instead of doing the work." "The work?" I said. "Carol, I've been doing the work for 28 years. You're the one who ran away. To the gym, to Aaron, to whatever fantasy you've been living, where I'm the villain in your story." I let her burn through the anger. When she ran out of steam, I picked up the pillow and set it back on the couch. Finally came the bargaining. She offered counseling, promised to quit the gym, said she'd delete Aaron's number right in front of me. She wanted to start fresh, pretend the last 2 years never happened. "We can rebuild," she said. "People get past this stuff all the time. Stronger marriages have survived worse." "It's too late." "For that," I said. "Why?" she demanded. "Why is it too late?" "Because I don't trust you anymore," I said, "and I don't think I ever will again." That broke something in her. The fight drained out of her body like air from a punctured tire. She sank onto the couch and stared at the floor. "Where am I supposed to go?" she asked quietly. "That's not my problem anymore," I said. "Call your mother, call your sister, call Aaron. I don't have anywhere to stay." "You should have thought of that before you decided to take a romantic vacation with another man." She looked up at me then, and I saw something in her eyes I'd never seen before. Fear. Real fear. Not of me, but of the consequences she was finally facing. "You really hate me," she said. "No," I said. "I just don't love you anymore." The truth of that statement hit both of us at the same time. It wasn't said in anger or spite. It was just a fact, as simple and undeniable as gravity. I grabbed her suitcases and carried them out to her car while she followed slowly behind me. The evening air was cool, carrying the scent of barbecue smoke from a neighbor's grill. Normal Sunday evening smells from normal families doing normal things. When I closed her trunk, she reached out and touched my arm. "Wesley," she said. "Please, go," I said. "Just go." She searched my face for something. Forgiveness, maybe, or a sign that I'd changed my mind. She didn't find it. Carol got in her car, started the engine, and sat there for a long moment with her hands on the wheel. Then she pulled out of the driveway and drove away. I stood there until her taillights disappeared around the corner. Then I went back inside, closed the door, and locked it behind me. The house was quiet. Quieter than it had been in years. For the first time since this whole mess started, it felt peaceful. I sat down on the couch and let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. It was over. The marriage was over, and I was still breathing. The divorce was finalized 3 months later. Carol contested nothing, probably because her lawyer told her she didn't have a case. Adultery, abandonment, and a 28-year track record of me being the primary breadwinner didn't give her much leverage. I kept the house, the retirement fund, and what was left of my dignity. I heard through mutual friends that she'd moved in with Aaron about 2 weeks after I kicked her out. They lasted 3 months before he dumped her for a younger client. Apparently, the excitement of sneaking around doesn't translate well to actual relationships. Turns out, when you're the kind of person who will cheat with someone's wife, you're also the kind of person who will move on when something better comes along. Carol's mother called me once, about 6 weeks after the divorce was final. She apologized for her daughter's behavior, said Carol had been struggling, bouncing between friends' couches, working, part-time at a coffee shop, barely making ends meet. The real estate market had shifted, and without the stability of our marriage, she couldn't maintain her client relationships. "Is there any chance you'd reconsider?" she asked. "No," I said. "There isn't." She sighed like she'd expected that answer. "I understand. I'm sorry it came to this." I never heard from Carol directly. No calls, no texts, no dramatic appearances at my doorstep. I thought she finally understood that the bridge was burned and there was no rebuilding it. Some structures are too damaged to save. You clear the debris and start fresh. The guys at the station threw me a small gathering at Rodriguez's place when the divorce was official. Nothing fancy, just barbecue, beer, and a few hours of forgetting about everything. These were men who understood loss, who'd seen what happened when people made bad choices and had to live with the consequences. Rodriguez raised his bottle at one point and said something I'll never forget. "Here's to knowing your worth," he said, "and to not letting anyone make you forget it." I clinked my bottle against his and took a long drink. It tasted like freedom. A year passed. I kept the house, repainted the bedroom, a color Carol had always hated, tore out the carpet in the living room, and put down hardwood floors myself. working evenings and weekends until my back ached and my knees complained. The place felt different now, lighter somehow, like smoke finally clearing after a long fire. I started dating again after about 8 months. Nothing serious at first, just getting used to being around new people, remembering how to have conversations that didn't end in arguments or silence. It was like learning to breathe clean air again after years of smoke inhalation. Then I met Sharon Garcia at the hospital after a bad call. Kitchen fire that claimed an elderly woman, smoke inhalation that we couldn't reverse despite 40 minutes of CPR. I was washing soot off my hands in the ER when this nurse walked up and offered me coffee. She was 48, had been an ER nurse for 15 years, widow with grown kids. She'd lost her husband to cancer 3 years earlier, knew what it meant to start over when you thought your life was settled. "Rough night?" she asked. "They all are," I said. "You just learn to carry it better." She nodded like she understood. "Want to grab dinner sometime? Somewhere that doesn't smell like antiseptic and trauma." Sharon was kind, funny, honest in a way that caught me off guard. She didn't play games or test me with ultimatums. She just said what she meant and meant what she said. After 28 years of walking on eggshells, it was like discovering I'd been holding my breath for decades. We took things slow. Neither of us was in a rush. We'd both learned that some things are worth waiting for, and some things aren't worth saving. I ran into Carol once, about 14 months after the divorce. I was getting coffee downtown when I saw her behind the counter at one of those trendy places that charge $5 for what used to cost 50 cents. She looked tired, worn down. The Arizona tan was long gone, replaced by the pale exhaustion of someone who'd learned that consequences eventually catch up. She saw me and froze. I nodded politely, ordered my drink, and left without saying anything else. There was nothing left to say. Carol gambled that I would always be there no matter how she treated me. She thought my love was unconditional, that she could push and I'd never push back. She was wrong. Here's the thing about being a firefighter. You learn the difference between what can be saved and what needs to burn. You learn to recognize when a structure is too damaged to salvage, when the best thing you can do is contain the damage and protect what's still worth protecting. Carol spent 2 years pouring gasoline on our marriage, then handed me a match and dared me to light it. She thought I wouldn't have the courage. She thought I'd rather live in a burning house than face the darkness outside. She underestimated me. Some lessons only land when they cost you something. Carol lost a home, a husband, and a future she'd taken for granted. I lost 28 years and a version of myself that believed love alone was enough to fix anything. But I gained something too. I learned that walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the strongest thing you can do. So I did exactly that.